Up, my friends? Rob Fury here with Streamily.com, and I am here to welcome you to the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Q&A panel. Ladies and gentlemen, first off, let's start off. We're going to start off with introductions. They're going to tell you their names. They're going to tell you the characters that they voiced, and they're going to tell you what amazing experience that they had playing that character. First off, we are going to start off with Warren.
Hey, I'm Warren Cole. I play Philip Graves in Modern Warfare 2 and 3. And the first amazing experience I had was probably the audition. I was in a hotel room in Vancouver, and I was doing it through Zoom with Brian Bloom and some more of the executives. And I had a broomstick for a gun. And Brian has this like mission control setup behind him on the other side. I don't know where he does what bunker he's in when he does these Zoom meetings, but it was very intimidating. And he's all shadowed, like, Bob Fosse, like lighting barely coming at him. And I knew it was just enough of a brotherhood feeling just from that I was going to have a good time. And it was.
Thank you for that, Warren. Next up, Barry.
Hi, everyone. I'm Barry Sloan. I play Captain John Price from Modern Warfare 19, Modern Warfare 2 and 3. It's a pleasure to play this man, and I've enjoyed every single second of it. And I think just to stay on track with what Warren was saying, the audition process for this is really interesting. It was different for me to start off. It was actually at the Infinity Ward Studios, and it was, I imagine it could be quite daunting because you walk in and it's that full space. It's not like a typical audition where you go in and it's like a small one-on-one space. It was just that vast room, and it was like perform these pieces, and then they kind of, there's like footage of it somewhere, my initial one, and then they kind of started dropping me little things they wanted me to say, like dropped in that it was Captain Price, because I didn't know who I was auditioning for at the time. And and the same to echo again what Warren said, that the collaborative nature of this, of everybody involved in this, just makes it a pleasure. And they cast it really well, the no idiots rule, which is nice. So we've managed to keep everybody being great on this show. So love it.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Barry. Next up, Sam.
Hey everybody, I'm Samuel Rukin. I play Simon Ghost Riley. I think for me, the most exciting first moment was when the 141 was together for the first time. It was actually took a while before we were all in the same room together, but yeah, when we were on set, as a team for the first time, I think that's when it kind of like really hit home that I was in it, because so much of it happens, in isolation, or there was just the stuff that Soap and Ghost were doing together, which was really cool. But when they all came together, those scenes are always written so well, and you really kind of get those different energies coming together, and so that was really special for me.
That's lovely. That is lovely, Sam. Thank you for that. And Alan.
Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Alain Mesa. I play Alejandro Vargas in Modern Warfare 2 and in Warzone. And I'd say the most special thing about this whole experience for me, the audition was pretty special, just because again, like I'm sure these other guys, I had absolutely no idea what I was auditioning for. In fact, I even after I booked it, even after I knew it was Call of Duty, I was like, oh, cool, I get to be this character in Call of Duty. It's a supporting role. And Brian was like, actually, no, you're a big catalyst for this. And I was like, oh shit, pressure's on. So, actually feeling that pressure early on was great. So that was very, very special for me. And it made me work extra hard. And yeah, just like, the camaraderie with the guys and everybody there at Infinity Ward, and Blur Studios and just everyone involved was incredible. It was definitely an experience that's lasting many memories for me. So
that is beautiful. I love how everybody had their own unique experience with the whole. A lot of it was the whole audition process, but with that, like, going through that, bringing you guys all together. Look at the chat, ladies and gentlemen. We have over 770 people live on the chat. You got to understand, this is an experience that has not been seen anywhere else but here on Streamly. So, by the way, if you want to share in part of this experience, bring home some magic and get one of these guys' autographs, go to streamly.com/Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Their shops are open right now. You guys can get a piece of these amazing people right to hang on your wall at home. So with that, before we even get into the first question, I want everybody, we have over 788 people in this chat now. Throw all your hearts, throw hearts in the chat and show your love for these amazing talent that you get to go pew pew all day long with. All right, throw those hearts in the chat. So with this, I would like to ask my first question to you guys. Warren's like, yeah, what's up?
No, I was just curious. You need to cheer up a little bit, and you drink a cup of coffee.
Sorry, I'm just so tired.
You're not excited enough.
Sorry, but I'll step it up a little bit. But my first question is, when the games finally dropped, and you understood that, yeah, I'm not just of someone in this long line of amazing actors that are in this Call of Duty franchise. But when you realize that you are literally one of the key cornerstones in the public zeitgeist of Call of Duty, no matter what, they're always going to remember you in that role moving forward in the future. Like, how did you feel when you first realized, like, whoa, oh my God, I'm that person now? Like, how did it feel? We'll start in reverse.
Well, for me, I didn't have any character that was around as Allah. There was no Alejandro before me, so I was just trying to figure it out on my own in collaboration with Brian and with Jeff, and really just kind of playing around. And that was really cool because for the first time in a while, I got to create something that I knew that players were going to be, around for a very long time. They were going to be using my character. So, but I really just kind of approached it just as I would, a stage production or any other role. And I think that when it hit home for me that it was like that was when people started to send me fan art. And then eventually, people were getting like tattoos of, me. And I was like, wait, what? So then Alejandro had kind of become something that was, bigger than anything that I could do. And I'm sure they feel the same way too. I mean, it's just when you're part of this community, when you're a character in this community, there's so much love. There's so much attention that you get. And these people look up to you. And it's a really, really humbling feeling that I'm very grateful to have. So
that's lovely. That is lovely to hear. Samuel?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a massive transition because, when we're doing it, there's like 20 of us a day, and like that's all there is, and you're in a very that's with the whole crew, and then the actors, there's usually, not a lot of us working on any given day. So you're making this thing and you forget the size of it because you're just in this very kind of small world that you're, inhabiting. And then suddenly like the marketing machine kicks in and it's quite shocking. The first time around for me anyway, I was like, hang on a second, that's us on the Arc de Triomphe or, that, like just all of these like in Times Square and, all of these ridiculous things that but all at the same time. That's the other thing. It's like it's like suddenly all around the world in the biggest possible way. And then for me, like, that's the first kind of phase of it. But when it drops, when the fans get to start playing it, the satisfaction that comes from this very small world that you were in to suddenly, millions of people actually getting their hands on it and getting inside this story, and talking about it and getting emotional about it. And like, that's the whole point, that's the reason why we care about doing a great job. And we feel that and we see it, and you can't get to all of the things that are being said, but it was a real thrill to be part of something that contacts this many people in a positive way. It's super cool.
Thank you for that, Samuel. Barry.
Well, I remember the first time round, there was a great deal of trepidation actually, because they weren't. Obviously, they were confident that we'd made a good game. I knew we'd made something really special. I've been seeing some of the levels, some of the graphics and what have you first time round. But there was that worry that it wouldn't be received, or that the size of the previous incarnation of these characters and this game would be too big for people, and that the response wouldn't be as incredible as it turned out to be. So I remember there being, just through, not through me personally, because I don't tend to buy into fear. I just, what will be, will be. But the company themselves, they were just waiting to see how it was going to be. And I remember the trailer, the reveal of it was just me smoking a cigar with the fucking Bravo 6 Going Dark trailer came out. And I remember just watching the YouTube, like on YouTube, like the number of view counts, like you just checking over a day, and it was like, holy fuck, it was like millions and millions and millions and millions and millions. And it was just the biggest thing I'd witnessed, it was huge. And it was very special to see that response from people throughout it all. And it's only grown throughout. The franchise has got bigger, and we've added more talent and more creativity. And it's just brilliant. I echo what Sam was saying there as well. It's like you're making a little thing with your friends, and then all of a sudden it's the biggest thing on the planet for a while, and it's certainly a ride. Very proud to be a part of it.
Thank you for that, Barry. Warren.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to echo what these guys have kind of been saying already. But if I started thinking about the scope of something like this game, it might mess me up a little bit, like on the day when we're trying to make this thing. So maybe I'm crazy, but I'm able to just treat it like a little sandbox that I'm going in, and this is what's going on today. It's a very, as polished as the product is, when we get to go in, it's a very nuts and bolts feeling kind of operation where you're just coming in, bringing your lunchbox. Everyone's there to work on something. There's this spirit of shared task that's kind of there in this group of people, and let's just tinker around and let's make it's almost theatrical in the way that we put it all together. We're just dressed up in these outfits. Not a lot of secrets, like kind of immediately between everybody. Like the secrets are out. There's no mystery. Like, there we are. Let's go for
it. That skin tight suit's a real leveler, isn't it?
It is. So you check your ego kind of at the door, which is great. And then, I knew when I was asked to come in, like, hey, I know this is a big franchise. I remember playing Call of Duty a long time ago, and how established and the legacy behind a franchise like this. Barry, you've grown up with this thing. I can only imagine the stories you have. But then the feedback starts to come, and it's like, I didn't know if this was working or not. I thought I might get fired off this thing, and it turns out, it all came together in the end, and it works, and everybody likes the characters, and everybody likes the way they put it together, and the maybe what felt a little offbeat on the day really worked, and then you can enjoy the scope of it, kind of after the fact. But to let it seep in any more than that, I'd get a little self-conscious, and I'd like, well, I have to please the crowd. I have to please this base and this media that we all work in, and that's too much pressure for me. So I just sort of narrow it down, and it becomes just this little operation that we're all just trying to tell a good story and do good scenes and hope for the best.
Well, the best is out there, because literally we are close to 800 people in the chat right now. 792. Just astronomical. And you know what? Talking about pleasing the base, you guys being here on this panel right now, people are going crazy. You're pleasing the base. And another way that you guys want to get some great pleasures, go to streamily.com/Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and you can get a little piece of Call of Duty heaven for your wall, for your kids, get it for your family, your mother, your daughter, your sister, cousin, everybody in your family. Just have a whole Call of Duty like loadout right there. Go to streamily.com/Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So story-wise, I want to ask you guys, because of course, you've seen the story. What part, like in the largest Call of Duty scale, story-wise, really made you go, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened? Or, whoa, that really touched me. And it could be involving your character or involving the overall characters as a whole. So, and I see everybody thinking, so I'm just going to give it a second. Give you guys a second. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, go to streamily.com/Call of Duty Modern Warfare right now. And we're going to start with Warren.
Oh, sure. Throw me in.
Well, I'm not throwing you under the bus. I'm so sorry. Do you want an extra parachute so I could slow down the descent?
No, I'll go for it.
All right, go for it.
Because what struck me is more of maybe a macro part when we were in Modern Warfare 2. The fact that they were able to, or they wanted to tackle a story that wasn't morally very cut and dry. It wasn't very clear, and I thought that reflected a lot on Modern Warfare. At least it touched against it a little more than some of the movies you see, these days. Like, they really wanted to get into it. And Graves' moral compass aside, just the story itself, you kind of got. There are rules, but it is a dirty business, and it kind of explored that a little bit. I really thought that was a cool thing to do with the game, and to push that a little bit. I thought it was really, really interesting and cool to be a part of that, and even kind of inject a little bit. I'll get into that maybe later, but that's what impressed me the most. That they weren't just going to be like a comic book telling of warfare. They were going to go and explore some nuance. I thought that was really cool.
Thank you, Warren.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think, I've been lucky enough to do a couple of jobs now around a similar theme, and meet and work with and alongside people who've actually done this kind of thing for real. And so there's a definite duty that we owe to tell the story correctly. Now, people are going to spend so much time in these worlds, how you portray these warriors is really important, and I've had a lot of members of the armed forces reach out and have played it and have seen, and felt value from it as well. So I'm always grateful for the amount of due diligence that Brian and the team put into this game, and making sure that we're not, as Warren said, turn it into a cartoon and kind of making a joke out of something that's very, very serious. But not not without some elements of light, which are important. But that's where I am. I was going to elaborate that, but no, that's where I am.
Well, thank you, Barry. Samuel.
Well, I mean, yeah, again, like, you know, everyone's so tuned into this experience. Like, I agree with everything that the guys just said, but you know, this last one, you know, Modern Warfare 3, you know, the courage it takes to write plot movements like they did are like, it can't be overstated, like how courageous that is to make massive changes to the landscape of characters that are in the story. You know, all of the stuff with well, you know, with Graves and Shepard and obviously Soap, like, you know, as we find out about those things, we're also like reacting to that as fans of the game as well, as fans of the story, followers of the story, and those things are so impactful, you know, going forward too. Like, you know, I don't think any of us really know what's going to happen next now, and that's so exciting, but it's so brave too, because, you know, when you've got a good thing and you've got beloved characters, and, you know, for not just because they're good, but also because of, you know, that they're not, you know, the questionable characteristics of, you know, these are very like, it's a cocktail, right? And you're changing the ingredients. I love that. Like, that's what keeps something alive, is by making bold moves. And so story-wise, as those things develop, you know, and it's obviously like sad when people go that you've become, you know, friends with and all of that. But like, just from a story perspective, it's the writing at its best, frankly. So that's another reason why I love being a part of this.
Thank you for that, Samuel. Alain.
You know, honestly, I'd say one of the coolest things that I thought Call of Duty did for Modern Warfare 2, the one that I was involved in, was we had an entire level where the first person player and their teammate were just speaking Spanish, you know, and that was in the border mission. And I remember when we did it, when we recorded it in Spanish, Bayardo and myself, we were really happy. We thought it was really cool. And Brian and Jeff, they were also very happy, because apparently that had never been done before. But we were also kind of skeptical. We were wondering if Activision, we were going to take it to Activision. They were going to say, yeah, let's, you know, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Let's record a version in Spanglish or in English. But they didn't. We sent it off and they never sent it back. And, you know, in October of 2022, it came out and it was all in Spanish. So I know Bayardo's gotten a great response from that, as you know, from the Latino players, but just in general from the entire COD community, they thought that was, you know, pretty risky, pretty ballsy, and it was just great to be part of that. So personally, my experience, that I thought that was really, you know, special, and I give props up to Call of Duty for that.
Nice. And talking about special, I'm going to piggyback on that and say, if you want to get a special exclusive swag from your favorite Call of Duty actor, go to streamily.com/Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I am the king of segue, yes. But piggybacking off the you know, special, I want to ask you guys, what is one of the funniest or most ridiculous fan interactions you've ever had? I feel that Barry has a lot of funny moments, and he's like, oh man, I'm counting the list. So Alain, let's start with you this time.
Oh man. Actually, I had an interaction a couple months ago at Target. I was at Target. I was, you know, there was somebody guy was like 17 years old or something, 18, And he was kind of like following me around the shop a little bit. And then finally he comes up and, he introduces himself. He says, "Hey, you're Alejandro." I said, "Yes," and he's like, "Can I get a quick picture?" I said, "Yeah, of course." And he's like, "Man, my brother's such a big fan of yours." And he kind of looks over to the back of him, and his brother's not there. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was just gonna wave his brother. Okay, cool, man. That's no problem. So then I continue shopping, and I'm in the next lane, and then all of a sudden, this kid had to be 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old, maybe a small 5. This kid was like a little petite one, and he just he didn't even walk to me. He was by himself, and he just kind of floated over to me in some weird way. And I'm looking at this kid, and I'm like, is anybody with this kid? The kid just kind of floats over to me, gets right next to my leg, is looking up at me, and he kind of has he's so sweet looking. He had his arm up. It kind of looked like he wanted to give me a hug, but he was a little confused. And so I was like, "Oh, this has got to be the brother, right?" And I was thinking, "Damn, this kid is really young to be playing Call of Duty." and I said, "Hey, what's up, little guy? How you doing?" And he goes, "Hi, how are you?" And I forgot his name. It might have been like Thomas or something, but I was like, "Oh, cool, Thomas. Like, it's really nice to meet you. Thanks for saying hi." And he kind of walked away a little confused, like a little unsatisfied. And then I tell him, as he's walking away, I kind of pat him on the back and I go, "Órale, cabrón." And he turns around and lights up. And his brother was coming. Finally, his brother came to go get him, coming from the other side of the lane. And he runs up to his brother. He goes, "He did the voice. He did the voice." Oh. And that was such a very sweet interaction, because from this 5-year-old who you would never expect to be playing Call of Duty. So that was one of my favorite reactions for sure.
That is sweet. You could say his big brother's a good or bad big brother.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, they start him early in that family. Yeah.
Fair enough. Samuel, talk to me about your experience.
Well, I mean, it's got a bit ridiculous now, but everybody is like constantly asking me for dad jokes because of Modern Warfare 2, and I'm just so happy to oblige. I mean, there's not. I mean, to me, they're just jokes. I don't really understand the dad part, but that's always a trip. But the other thing is, because my face isn't, the whole face isn't in the game.
It is for me.
You what?
It is for me.
I know it is. I know it is. I know. And I feel seen by you, honestly.
Good.
Thank you, Captain. Like, people don't really recognize me, which is good. Otherwise, that would be an upsetting kind of thing about my face. But anyway, what's mad is, right, when you're talking about it, they say, "What are you doing?" What are you, and you sort of start talking about, like, I do, I'm in this video game, and and then you tell them, and then they go, "Well, who are you?" I say, "Well, I play Ghost." And there's like always that really fun moment when they go, "No way," and it happens with, like, I was just at a family event, and like some cousins of mine didn't know, and they're like massive gamers, and they just like they freaked out, and it's always really fun to, like, again, it's like the whole thing is like, that's why you do it, so people like it. But those things are really funny to me. But the dad jokes are a trip, obviously,
Thanks for that, Samuel. Barry?
Well, I've been absolutely blown away by the fan interaction to the level. I've seemingly picked up a few nicknames. I seem to be, the word Pookie seems to come in quite a lot, which is something I'd never come across before, but is obviously in the zeitgeist of people now, and being somewhat of a father figure to people is really interesting, and an honor as well. I kind of get away with it. If I've got a beard on, then it's a different game. But if I'm clean shaven, and because my voice, like personally, when I speak like this, is like quite different from John, I can sneak around. But if very similar to what I was saying there, that like if someone asks me for the voice and I drop it out, it's kind of quite fun for them, especially if we've been interacting and talking for a minute normally, and I'm like, my range is here, and then all of a sudden it drops down here, And they're like, oh, fuck it, there he is. But yet I had some lovely fans come and see. I was doing a play last year, and they came and watched the show, and they were waiting outside, and and then when we met, they were shaking, really shaking, and I remember like saying, calming them down and saying, it's okay, it was just when you see that physical effect that you kind of have on people through this game, it's a wonderful thing, and I'll never get tired of it, and it's something that I'll always have with me, even after somebody else is playing Captain Price in 10 years and calling me the old Captain Price, which I'm sure will be endlessly fun. But yeah. So thank you to everybody.
Well said, Dad.
Oh my God, I swear you too. Warren.
Well, I don't get approached a lot on the game, not in person. I've had a couple like people, like a butcher, be like, "Hey, doesn't this guy look like the guy from
Butcher?
COD?"
The butcher.
Yeah,
Hey, you look like that guy from COD. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I get that a lot. I don't. Where do you go from there?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you blow their mind and be like, well, guess what, pal? Guess who you're
not while he's got a
fish for
butcher's
today.
knife in his hand.
Plus I'm a bad guy, so I don't know if people are comfortable coming up saying I like your character, or I idolize. Like, he's not a very great role model or anything like that, so I don't get approached a lot. I just assume that it was enjoyed because of there's some online interactions and things like that. Can everybody hear the dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Right on time. Garbage truck is coming through too right now.
My cat just showed up too.
All right.
Yeah.
It's like Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah.
But it's.
But I think what's so great about your character, Warren. What's so great about Graves?
Someone come in, at Home Depot, and it's like a big burly guy, and he's like, "I love you. I love what you do, man. Great work." And it's like, "Oh, thanks." And I assume it's a Call of Duty. He's like, "Nah, Yellow Jackets.
Yeah,
love Yellow Jackets. Like, big fan." Or a little, girl, like a little Asian girl or something, came up to me and she's like, "I really love I love what you're doing." And that was the Call of Duty fan. So you never know what the demo is when someone comes up to you these days. And there's no proxy to hide behind in video games anymore. At least not with this one. There's no avatar that you can hide behind anymore. Like, they're photo accurate sometimes, and that's weird, to be recognized from something that's rendered.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that, just like you were saying, Warren, Call of Duty, it just transcends different races, ages, sexes, genders. It's so crazy. Hearing when LA was talking about just this little 5-year-old just came up to him, and then you talking about the butcher just coming up to you and telling you, "Hey, I love your stuff." It's absolutely great, because Call of Duty, you think it's this violent first-person shooter, but it's so rich with story and nuance. It's like watching like your favorite series, but you get to interact with it, and it just completely changed like the way that we see games nowadays, because it's not just, oh yeah, I just want a quick storyline and that's in going to the multiplayer. Like, now you're like, I really am invested in the story. I want to know what the next game, what the story is going to be now, and it's because of all the amazing work that you guys do as actors that you bring us into the game. You bring us into that world. And I definitely just want to say thank you for that, because without your amazing acting, we wouldn't be so invested. The game is an amazing game, but the storyline, that's what really hooks us. And you guys did an amazing job with that. So definitely want to say thank you for that. And I've seen this in the chat way too many times. And ladies and gentlemen in the chat, I will submit to it. We've had requests to see you guys flex on camera. So if you guys feel comfortable, can you like do a flex or something on the camera? Just a
personally, I've been flexing below camera the whole time, so I feel like I've done enough for everybody. To be honest.
You know what? I felt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the difference between me flexing and me not flexing.
I'll flex my cat.
Yeah,
Look, I feel like people can just go to TikTok. They can go to TikTok and find that stuff already. There's already edits. We all flex.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, go to the TikToks. Go check out the flex off on TikTok right there.
There's also a picture of my store, which I've got no shirt on, so you can get that as well. There you go. There's a little plug there, Rob. You're right.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Barry has a very how do I say enticing picture with
artistic is the way.
It is very it is a very artistically tasteful shirtless picture. So if you do want to partake in such things and put it on your wall and idolize one of your favorite actors, go to streamily.com/Call of Duty Modern Warfare and you can get that as well. But this chat is absolutely insane. I'm trying to literally talk to you guys and pay attention to the chat, and there's no possible way to pay attention to the chat anymore. All I just kept seeing is shirtless picture, flex, and I had to just answer that now. So there you go, guys. Go to their TikToks, get the flexing over there. Now, I have to ask you, because you guys have been, acting for so long, going into the audition process, right? Because of course everybody knows, like, quote unquote, your job as an actor is to audition, and then you get the part, cool, and then you're going right back into auditioning. So going into the audition process, like, was there a code word for the audition process? Did you, like, when you first got the word that it was Call of Duty, did you feel more pressure on you, or were you just like, okay, I'm in the franchise, this is cool, let me have fun?
I'll just go quickly because I briefly spoke on it before. When the first one came around, it was so what came up, and like, you get sent from your team or whatever. It was a AAA video game, which means it's one of the big ones, so it's going to be one you've heard of for a start, and then from the sides you can kind of see it's a war game. So then you can kind of narrow down then that it's one of 2 or 3 big war games, and there was a code name first time round for this. It was, I think it was Behemoth was the first one. So everything was Behemoth right the way through. And so, yeah, when I went in, because I knew the game, I pretty much worked out it was Captain Price, just because, like, it had to, but they weren't announcing it was Modern Warfare, but I kind of felt like it might be. But I was playing it, I tried to do it Scouts with this voice, but they changed it. So you have limited information. It's very secretive, and then once you get down the line in with the execs and stuff, it kind of opens up and it becomes more apparent. But it is shrouded in secrecy because there's so much interest in it, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. Would anybody else like to add on to that?
Yeah,
so, Barry, that was you first get. Sorry,
I should have just picked people. Go, Warren.
No, Warren said it best.
When did you start with Call of Duty, brother?
2018.
2018.
Like, kind of like mid 2018, I guess, when I first auditioned for it. And then there was all like the mouth scans and the face scan and all the stuff that went on. So it's been going on quite a while now. Yeah, a long old time.
But
amazing.
I mean, the technology, it's leaps and bounds beyond what it was even in 2018 now.
Oh my God! I mean, we were looking at the facial renders for that first game, and we're literally blown away. Like I couldn't imagine. But then I used to play. I remember playing like FIFA soccer games in like early 2000s. I'm thinking that is just the same head as my favorite football player. You know what I mean? It's like you look at it now, it's like 18 blocks with blobs on it. You know what I mean? But it's like our brain sees what it needs to see. But yeah, between that one and the third one, like the cut scenes in this last one were just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can see people horrified that I've used soccer. I'll just clarify that when, having because I live in the UK and the United States, I'm quite good at going between both when I'm talking to people from a different country. It makes it easier. And so that's why I've gone against football. Just don't get annoyed.
Fair enough.
Typical red behavior.
Well, isn't soccer an English term to begin with? Association
football?
No.
We call it football because you use your foot and it's a ball.
All right. I think I did read something that the association football, because rugby started coming in, they had to separate the footballs or something like that, and then it stuck in the States.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I don't know where soccer came from. Like, I don't know. It was never used. I'd never heard the term until like the late 90s, I guess, when it kind of opened up. I don't know. Because I always grew up in the UK with the NFL being known as American football.
That's right.
That's what it's known as in the UK, American football. So there's like the correlation between the two. It was like, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was actually kind of looking it up online right now. It says literally is to distinguish rugby and football, because rugby are ruggers apparently. So with the term soccer, you guys could Google it. It's an interesting thing.
Good wormhole.
Right?
Agree to disagree.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start winding down. We're going to go into the last 5 minutes of this Q&A panel. So I want to ask you guys, while we're winding down, what is something that you would love to see in the next Call of Duty games, or in the future in the Call of Duty franchise? What is something that you would love to see? We'll start with Ellen.
My character. I'd love to see my character in the next.
Nothing but.
That'd be
I
great.
want a whole spinoff, baby.
That'd be really nice. Yeah.
I'll give Brian a call and see what he says about that. But that's what I'd love to see. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? That perfectly makes sense. Fair enough.
Yes,
Samuel.
I want us to keep going. I want to see the layers get peeled away on these characters, which they are doing each time we go deeper in. And I want to see more of it. I think I don't want to see too much too soon. Like knowing a little bit more is like really enticing for the next part of the story too. But this kind of like slow kind of investigation of who all these people are and why they all work together and why they do what they do, I just can't get enough of it. So more of that for me.
Love that, Barry.
Yeah, exactly that universe building. Really, I think we've got such a rich world there now, and people are really enjoying seeing more of that. So yeah, I think we build on the relationships between characters, involving all the characters together. We've got such a great group now. I'm always a big fan, especially when you're doing TV shows and stuff like that, putting characters together in scenes you haven't had that many scenes together. So, I'd like to do scenes with Warren and with Alan, and you know what I mean? Like kind of more scenes like that where you're getting to work with new actors is always exciting.
Did you forget someone there? Because it just felt like you mentioned everybody else on this call except.
It's not that I don't want to do more scenes with you. It's just that I want to do scenes with other people more.
Oh
which is a compliment, right?
But I feel like in my day-to-day life, because you're always on my mind, that I'm having doing scenes with you on a daily basis.
Thanks, Dad.
I'm even doing videos when I'm doing, with you and on my Instagram. So that's
okay. No, I feel emotionally supported now. Thank you.
Okay. You've had your turn, Warren.
Well, thank you. I just feel a little like I want what you and Samuel have, and I didn't get there with anybody. And maybe that's my fault. I was kind of defensive. I wasn't sure of myself. I didn't know how to do the voice. I showed up. You guys were doing that shit. Everybody was doing the voice, and I show up with this greedy fucking Southern Graves guy. I wasn't sure if that was gonna fit. Didn't quite fit in. Honestly, I'd like to see. Moving on. I'd like to see.
There's no room left in this octave.
I don't know if I'm gonna fit with this crowd.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll teach you.
I think what everybody's saying, and maybe I'll restate it another way. I just want to see this franchise continue to uphold the standard that was it and has been it at its best. And that requires thought, and it obviously requires a lot of time. Modern, the work is years to put these things together for fans to enjoy these games. It's a lot of work, and it's hundreds of people. And that requires some patience and grace throughout all of that, and some courage to explore maybe difficult stuff. So that's all I'd like to see. Whatever they want to do, they do. If I'm there, I'd love it. If it's all about Alain, fine. I guess I have to watch that too. As long as they take their time.
Let's hope.
And put out a good game. Because it's a cool ass game. And it was really cool to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yes. My face hurts from laughing so much with you guys. I swear, I love this. This group of people is so talented. It's so just hilarious, and I love that. And we are literally going down to the last 2 minutes of this Q&A panel. So, last two things. First, are there any upcoming projects that you have in your repertoire that you are excited about and you want to tell everybody right now about? That's not under NDA, of course.
Oh, I've got a very cool TV show coming out over here in the UK called Passenger. That is going to be on. It's definitely on BritBox in the US and worldwide. It's one of the most intriguing scripts I've done in a long time. I've seen the first 3 episodes, and it's kind of blown me away a little bit. And I'm playing an emo, which is a wonderful experience for me. I've got long hair and tattoos, and leather jackets. It's very nice. It's kind of like, it's a very unnatural story set in the north of England where I'm from. So that always feels nice. And it's kind of feels like the first time there's been it's like our Fargo or our Stranger Things kind of thing. It's like a big old British show with prestige. So if it reaches you in the United States, it's done well. If it doesn't, just know that I thought it was great.
What's it called? I'm sorry, Barry. What's it called again?
Passenger.
All right. Well, thank you. We will definitely check that out, Barry. Anybody else want to plug any of their upcoming projects?
I have a movie that's just about to start its festival run called Canvas, about the art world. And it's one of the best scripts that I read for a long time. And it's like a beautiful, intense movie about the cost of being an artist. And I'm excited about that. So that's coming out. It's starting its festival run. So next month in March. So yeah, Canvas.
Well, congrats on it being in the festivals. Congrats on that. Alain, Warren, would you want to plug anything before we go into the last part?
Not anything that's not NDA'd, just a few games and stuff that I think are pretty cool in the last couple months. So yeah, you guys will all hear it when they come out, and I'll let you all know.
Sam, thank you for that. And Warren?
Just some things, in development. Gonna go up north and start shooting season 3 of Yellow Jackets in the next couple months.
Woo!
Nice.
Woo!
That's good stuff.
All right. That is awesome. So the last and not least, we're going to start winding down with the last thing. Gentlemen, please tell everybody on this amazing chat where they can find you on social media, because when you will be doing your autograph signings, they want to see exactly when they're doing it. Of course, you're going to be posting it on your social. So tell us, where can they find you on social media? Elaine.
Well, definitely you can find me on IG. That's where we're going to do the live signings. That's where we've been doing the live signings on my page. I'm mostly active on IG. Sometimes I'll go and check Twitter. Sometimes I don't check TikTok. I just have a page there because somebody else said they were me, and they had to start one. But IG, find me on IG if you guys haven't already. And that's where we'll be doing the signing. So,
all right. Oh, well, you got to plug the IG one. You have to plug your handle.
So my handle, you just have to Google my name or look up my name, but it's actually _Alain Mesa _. That's
there you go.
So blue checked.
Put that in there, dang right. Samuel, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm Rukin Official on Instagram and at Samuel Rukin on X. And I'm just going to take this opportunity to thank you, Rob, for all your energy and enthusiasm and support. Really appreciate it. But yeah, those are the two platforms that I'm kind of active on. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm on other things. That's where I do my chatting. You know, that's where I wind Barry up.
Fair enough. Barry, your social.
On Instagram, I'm Barry Paul Sloan, and on X, it's just Barry Sloan. And I've written my own official thing next to it because I refuse to pay the money.
Fair enough. And Warren.
I'm on Instagram. I am. I admit it. And I'm working on it. I'm a recovering, denier of the power of social media. So I'm trying to get in on it. Warren Cole. I think it's just Warren Cole. Just look that up. He'll pop up.
With a K.
With a K, please. Thank you, Samuel. And thank you, Rob.
Oh, well, thank
you all, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for being on this. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can go to Streamily.com, see all the fantastic talent that we have coming up with their upcoming signings. Go to Streamily.com/Call of Duty Modern Warfare and get your exclusive swag. You can visit us at Streamily.live on all social media. And if you guys have any talent or events or games that you want to see on Streamily, you can slide into my DMs at Official Rob Fury on all social media platforms. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say, no doubt, stay frosty, and we will see you guys later. Goodbye, everybody.